Let's jump back into what we are discussing, and that is camp updates. And my God, do we have a lot of them. So we're going to start out with what everyone wants to know, and that is wide receivers. So the Stars, no surprise here, by the way, Silas Bolden and Ryan Wingo. I try to tell people when Silas Bolden and Matthew Golden got on campus, do not be surprised if they are just as good as Isaiah Bond. I said that for the longest time, and everyone would look at me crazy. And I'm not crazy. I watched Silas Bolden play at Oregon State with an average QB in DJU, and he put up fantastic numbers. I believe over 900 yards or over 800 yards receiving, multiple punt returns for touchdowns. The guy is a dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands, great in space, good route runner, tough blocker. That's another thing that's come out. Silas Bolden has been the best blocker at wide receiver. And blocking is a lot like defense in basketball. It's about the willpower. If you have the willpower to block, that's half the battle. We saw that with A.D. Mitchell last year. He did not want to block, but that guy's so talented. Guess what? He doesn't have to block. Someone like Silas Bolden from day one had to block playing football because he's short. And right off the bat, people are going to be judgmental and say, this guy can't play because look how little he is. Well, guess what? I'll show you by blocking that I can play. And this guy's been fantastic so far. He's already returning punts as the first team when he started out 4 team. He's going to get a lot of playing time this year. I think I said he would end up fourth on reps at the wide receiver position. I believe I had Bond, Golden, Wingo, and then Bolden as my top 4. I think Cook ends up 5th in reps. And then Ryan Wingo has just been a stud. That's what everyone said. And I'm not shocked by it. Usually when you hear a guy's name in spring and it continues to be leaked throughout the fall, the guy's really damn good. And I think he's going to play a pivotal role in this offense. Like I said, I think he's going to be 3rd in snaps at the end of the year at the wide receiver position. I think he's going to take someone's spot. I don't think he starts right away. I think by Oklahoma, I think Bolden and Wingo might be the starters along with either Bond or Golden. Golden's been in the slot a lot. Not surprised by that. I think you're going to see, again, a lot of versatility, guys in different positions. So it's going to be interesting. Next up, I said he's going to be a breakout player after SEC Media Days, Jalen Gilbo. And what do you know? He is the starting nickelback so far through, a couple days of practice, almost a week of practice. Not surprised by it. I am kind of surprised by Jahdae Barron. He hasn't played outside cornerback. Now, I will say this. He hasn't with the media availability. That could be a secret because I said Jahdae Barron was going to play cornerback this year. I said he was going to play safety this year. I said he was going to play nickelback. I think you're going to see 2 to 3 guys rotate between nickelback, cornerback, and safety. I think Makuba could play nickelback because he did at Clemson. I think Jalen Gilbo will play predominantly nickelback, and I think you'll see Jahdae Barron play nickelback a little bit too. But I think those 3 guys will rotate a lot. I think Gilbo will play there probably 70-80% of the time. I think Barron will play on the outside 70-80% of the time, and I think Makuba will play safety 70-80% of the time. But you'll see them rotate a lot as well. Scotty Hazelton, who was formerly at, I believe, North Dakota State and Kansas State, I think he was the defensive coordinator at one point at Kansas State, is on staff now at Texas. He is predominantly coaching the nickelback position. And by the way, guys, he can coach in games now. Remember, the NCAA made that rule where if you're an on-field coach, you can coach. So I think that will help out the nickelback spot a lot. Not that it wasn't good. Jahdae Barron's been really good ever since he took that spot over. But it can get better, and Scotty Hazelton knows what he's doing. Anyone that came from Chris Kleiman knows what they're doing, and I think he'll provide a good portion of knowledge to those guys there, especially someone like Jalen Gilbo. Jalen Gilbo's in his 3rd year, guys, but he played a lot as a freshman, got hurt last year, barely played, if at all. And this is really a 2nd year playing, so it's going to be very interesting. I fully expect him to be a really good player. I could see him have a breakout year, end up in the NFL. That's how good I think this is. I believe he was the number 1 rated cornerback out of Texas in high school when he came out. So the guy has a load of talent, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job. Alfred Collins. We always do this, but I'm going to have to report it, don't I? Looks fantastic. Looks the part. Looks even bigger, stronger, faster than last time. That's the key with him. He always looks damn good in shorts and no pads. We'll see what he does in the big games. If he does take that next step, guys, there's a couple players, in my opinion, where if they take the next step, Texas will be in the national championship. If Alfred Collins takes a De'Vondre Sweat-like step, Texas can be in the national championship. If Quinn Ewers takes that next step, and by the way, he's been killing it in practice. I wasn't going to mention it, but he's been killing it as well, and I'm not shocked by that. I think he ends up in New York for the Heisman. But if he ends up taking that next step, I think Texas will be in the national championship. And the last thing, if Texas can have 40 sacks I think they end up in the national championship. Those three things need to hit for Texas to be in the national championship. Those three things hit, I think Texas can beat anyone other than possibly Georgia. I know Ohio State fans are not going to take that lightly. They're going to be pissed at me because I said we'd be better with them if those three things hit. I don't trust Will Howard, and that is my main concern with them. So the top wide receivers at practice in no particular order, the six that we talked about last week: Cook, Wingo, Bolden, Bond, Golden, and DeAndre Moore. I like DeAndre Moore. I think he's a hard worker. I think that's how he's going to make his money if there is a next level for him, kind of like Jordan Whittington. But I think Matthew Golden ends up being your starting wide receiver. I know early on it's been DeAndre Moore, but Matthew Golden, one thing that I've liked, what I've heard, is he's been reliable. And I love to hear that's what you need out of a slot guy. He's your chain mover. He's your reliable hands guy, getting him the ball in space as well. And like I said, reliable in catching, because that's very important in the slot. It's important everywhere, but also more so the slot. I really think I love Matthew Golden, so I think he will end up being the starting slot, but Moore could push him there. A guy that I wrote off and I've been wrong about, we'll see if I continue to be wrong about in the season, Juan Davis. He's a senior, but apparently he is just destroying it in camp. He's learned a lot. Jeff Banks has raved about him, and that's the thing too, guys. This is what I love about this coaching staff. When they talk about you in the positive light, they mean it. They're not just throwing your name out there to be like, oh my God, this guy's doing so well, to hype people up. And then when the season comes, you realize, oh, that's BS. Every time they've hyped someone up, they were right. And they've been hyping up Juan Davis. He's actually been taking the second team reps over Amari Niblack. It's been Gunnar Helm and Juan Davis. I don't think he ends up being second in snaps. I think Amari Niblack at the end of the season will do that. But it's crazy, man. I think we're going to end up running packages with 3 tight ends out there and using it, like actually throwing out of it, not just blocking and running. So Juan Davis, congrats, man. I was wrong about you. I think you're going to break in the lineup, and I think you'll have a pretty decent year. There was talk about him transferring, and then Texas convinced him. I'm like, why did you convince him he's not going to play? I was wrong. He'll play. If Jeff Banks said he's doing good and he expects a lot from him, he will play 100%. In the Natty, it's a 12-team playoff, more games. That would be something I'm here for it, though. I want you all good. I just want us better. That's better for both teams. I don't disagree with that. I think it's fun when Texas and Oklahoma are running the sport, but in contention for running the sport. And no one true team really runs the sport, honestly. But other than Nick Saban at Alabama, which is probably never going to happen again. But I don't disagree with that, Sheldon. It is fun when we're both better. And RJ Young, I think he's a little bit cracked out for saying we'll be in the SEC championship game together, but it would be fun. That would be hilarious, honestly, in the first game or first season in the SEC. Next up, the 3 safeties that are rotating the most are Derek Williams, Michael Taff, and Andrew McCoop. Not shocked by that, but when we get to who ran first team and second team, because we will get to that Monday. So today, sorry, they practiced earlier. It's going to be a little shocking who took first team safety there. Jelani McDonald and Xavier Filsaime round out that group of 5, but the 3 that I said, the top 3 are Derek Williams, Michael Tapp, and McCoop, but that's no surprise there. And then a guy, I'm not shocked by this, Alex January at defensive tackle is looking very good. The freshman from Duncanville, teammates with Colin Simmons. He was a 3-star recruit, and I'm telling you this right now, guys. This guy was only a 3-star recruit because of who he lined up with on the defensive line. When you line up with Colin Simmons, and you line up with the guy who I think has the talent to be a top 10 pick whenever he decides to come out in the NFL draft. And I'm saying this as a freshman as he's never stepped foot on the field, but I've seen the tape. I've seen what he looks like. I see his measurables. When you come out with an alien like that on your defensive line, he's a 5-star, and you look over, you're like, this guy's okay. That's why he got ranked a 3-star. If Colin Simmons isn't on that defensive line, he's a 4-star recruit. The tape showed it. His stats showed it. And he showed it in camp. He will play. I don't think he'll be a starter. I don't even know if he'll be a backup, but he will play. He'll probably play 5 to 8% of the snaps this year, which is pretty good for a freshman at a very deep defensive tackle room. I don't think it's has a load of upper echelon talent, but it's very deep. I think there's 4 to 5 guys there that will play in the NFL, like 5th, 6th round guys, but still NFL talent. I don't hate RJ like most, but yes, he is wild. I don't even hate RJ, but that was just a wild take. You can love Oklahoma, but you can have to be somewhat objective, and you can give me an opinion, Sheldon. I think Oklahoma is going to be 8-4 this year. If you disagree with that, throw it in there. Let's camp updates still. So, Amari Niblack looks great, but he's not running first or second team. I don't know what that means. I think Amari Niblack will be used less than people. Pro Football Focus has him as like the breakout star at tight end. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to have a very solid year. But I don't. There's also some people that's like, oh, he's not going to get many reps behind Gunnar Helm and those guys. First off, Sark loves 12 personnel. He's going to play 2 tight ends a lot. Do I think Amari Niblack is going to play a decent amount? Yes, I do. Do I think Juan Davis is going to play a decent amount? Yes, I do. I think you're going to see Davis and Niblack rotate a lot, and I think you're going to see Gunnar Helm as the staple when they do go with the 1 tight end set. I think he will definitely be your starter, and that's my opinion on that. But I do think, like, snap-wise, if we're having to break it down, I still think Niblack ends up with the second most. It's just hard for me to believe a guy that's in Juan Davis in his 4th year is going to be the backup tight end play. And if you're the backup at tight end in Texas, you're playing in a lot of snaps. I just don't see that. Do I see third and playing 20% of the snaps? Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. But I just don't see him being the second string. Next up, Gavin Holmes looks great. Guys, people forget, I believe he was an all-conference player in the ACC. He was like a really good player, and then he came to Texas, and then he got his feet wet. And now he's transitioning into a new he's been in 3 different conferences, ACC, Big 12, SEC, but he's in the same scheme. I think you're going to see him take a jump for sure. And if he can be that type of player that he was in the ACC, Texas has a real bona fide number 2 cornerback. If he can't, I think you're going to see, like I said, Jahdae Barron get a lot of reps there. I think Javion Cole's going to get a lot of reps there. I think Kobe Black's going to get a lot of reps there. And then a guy in Warren Roberson, who I wasn't even thinking of, killing it apparently. So there's a chance you could see him there. I think there's going to be a steady rotation early. I think you're going to see all those guys play in Colorado State. I don't know who they run out there for Michigan. That's the important game right now. Obviously breaking down the first half of the season, first quarter of the season. So it'll be interesting who they run out for Michigan. Colorado State, all these guys that I'm mentioning are going to play a decent amount of snaps. Actually, I think the backups may play more than the starters. So that's going to be interesting. Now, here we go. This is first team and second team's reps in practice taken today, Monday. First team, I'm not even going to mention quarterback. You know who that was. Running back, CJ Baxter. Not a surprise. They love him. Wide receivers, DeAndre Moore, Jonte Cook, Isaiah Bond. Tight end, Gunnar Helm. O-line, exactly who you'd expect. Left tackle, Kelvin Banks. Left guard, I guess left guard, I did think there'd be a competition. There doesn't seem to be, which is good. Hayden Connor, left guard. Center, Jake Majors. Right guard, DJ Campbell. Right tackle, Cam Williams. First team defense, Trey Moore, Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, Barron Sorrell. And it kind of surprised me Ethan Burke's not in there. Anthony Hill, David Benda, Gavin Holmes, Manny Muhammad, Michael Taft, and here is the surprise. Jelani McDonald, who I mentioned not in the 3 safeties that were killing it in camp, was the first team safety today. First team safety. Now, this is my comment on this. Steve Sarkisian probably has, I'm trying to think off my head, 16 to 17 guys he likes on this defense. He's trying to see where they fit and where the pieces match and how they come together as a puzzle. He wants to get his 11 best players on the field for the best situation at the time. At some point, Jelani McDonald will be one of the best 11 players that needs to play at a certain time in a game. 100% he will be. Steve Sarkisian seeing how these pieces fit together. That is my opinion on this. That is what I'm seeing. I think you'll see Jelani McDonald play safety quite a bit in the start, in big spots. I do. But I think he's trying to work out different combinations with and different schemes and seeing how they fit together. That's what I believe the first couple weeks. The last week of practice is what I'm really interested in. If the last week of practice, Jelani McDonald's running first team, my God, he's made an improvement and someone lost their job. I don't know how you could replace Derek Williams, so I think he's going to have a fantastic season. But if Jelani McDonald's doing it the first couple weeks of the season, then I'm wrong, and he's made a hell of a jump. Second team, Jaden Blue, running back. Obviously, Arch was the quarterback. Bolden, Golden, and Wingo. And then here it is, the surprise that I talked about. Juan Davis was your tight end for the second group. Trevor Gooseby, left tackle. Neto Umuluzulu, left guard. Connor Robertson, center. Right guard, Cole Hudson. Andre Kojo at the right tackle position. Burke, edge. Lole and Sevilla, defensive tackles. Finkley instead of Colton Vossick, which kind of surprised me at the other edge position. Leona Lafau, middle linebacker with Blackwell there at linebacker as well. Nickelback was Jahdae Barron. And then cornerbacks were Warren Roberson and Kobe Black, actually, and then Derek Williams and Makuba were at your safety position. So very interesting there. Couple surprises. Really only Juan Davis and Jelani McDonald, but still surprises nonetheless. So those are your camp updates for now.